Should we put the twinkles on? Okay. Hello. We're gonna get started shortly. Let's see who joins. Okay. How you doing? Drop your questions in the chat. What's today? Monday. That's what I thought. Thing about me and days, I've never followed them. Don't ask how I've survived this long. It just, I think it's just part of me being neurodivergent. I gotta just keep track of what's really, really important. And the things that I know that are big, someone ends up telling me about it. So, whatever. Anyways, I'm just yapping. Yapping. Okay, so, how's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? I'm all right. It's Monday, right? It's Monday. Hopefully you're doing well where you all are. We're going to talk about how to attract men who invest in you, okay? Because this is going to be the easiest thing you as a woman can do. I talk about, well, I'm not a dating coach. I talk about men and women, pretty much. Our dynamics between each other. Hi, Seraphine. How are you? How's it going? I haven't seen you in a minute. I hope you're doing well. We have a blueprint babe in the house. Seraphine is one of our blueprint babes. She's a mod in here too. Okay, so what was I yapping about? Attracting men. So as a woman, this is going to be the easy. Oh, back to school week. Ugh. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I feel like the energy is just a little off. I'm very sensitive to that kind of stuff. Maybe that's what it is. Yesterday and today I've had, now thinking about it, like a little headache. I don't know if it's actually this light that's just like blinding for me, but that may be part of it. Okay. Busy, but I'm happy to get them out of the house. Hey, is that living room painted yet, or did you need them out of the house to get that done? First day is tomorrow. Oh, okay. Nice. So, first day. Hopefully, it goes smoothly. They have to be out to get the living room done. Yeah. Okay. So, Seraphine, I'm asking about her living room because she has been using the blueprint because she's using my system. She used it with her ex, who she doesn't want, and he's going to be painting her living room. Okay, so it's a very simple system to start applying with men. The first and foremost thing you have to do is phase one of my system is you got to get out there, right? I personally find it's easier and simpler to vet men on dating apps because you don't give them access to you. You keep them on the app before you even like give them a phone number, before you even allow them onto a first date. So you get enough information to feel like, is it right? Okay. I personally teach you how to vet men and turn on their masculine switch so they can start doing things and investing in you, because investment is not just money. If you're dating him, that is a given, right? Because it takes money for him to wine and dine you. It takes money for him to treat you like a queen. If he's just treating you like a queen, touching all on you and doing stuff like that, he's abusing that privilege if he's not coming with resources, okay? Because you, obviously, your physicality is a resource to him, which means this is your primary asset, right? So you got to keep up with it. I plan to start dating like October. Interesting. I love that. Yeah, today I was just thinking, all of us are in different dating phases. Okay. So while I've been teaching this, I go in and out of dating phases. Hi, Laura. How are you? Laura, remind me, have you purchased the blueprint yet or not? Or you just hang out? I can't remember, because if you are a blueprint babe, I want to start trying to remember who's who. If not, I love hanging out. Thanks for joining. Um, Okay, so different phases, right? We're all different ages, we're all different phases, we all have different things going on in our lives, right? So when we are in different phases, like Seraphine, she said she's not going to start applying it until October. However, she's still been applying it unintentionally. Why? Because you understand what my system teaches you how to just sit back and receive as a woman. Because even other women are going to treat you well if you learn how to approach dynamics in ways that are beneficial to each other. Okay. Not yet. Pause on dating for now. Okay, cool. I love it. Thanks for hanging out. Um, so when you understand just how men are out in the wild, you learn how to just play the game. Okay. And some people are going to take that out of context and be like, oh, yeah, that's what you're doing. You're just playing a game. It's like, well, babe, welcome to the real world. And the reality is like life is a video game. Life is a game. And when you understand how to navigate in the game, you start making better decisions. So I teach from a psychology, sociology, and economic perspective in that manner. So I'm teaching from the like meat and bones of reality. Because once you start shifting that away from that reality, that's like real unhealthy, delusional, and you're not going to get what you're looking for. You still have to kind of play inside of quote unquote the matrix, right? And playing inside of it doesn't necessarily mean you have to play by those rules. You just need to understand the nature of them. So once you understand the nature of who you are as not just a woman, but as an individual based on life experiences, that is why you're making the decisions that you're making. Same thing with men. However, bare bones, once you understand, okay, this is what it's like to be feminine and what it is to get men to start investing, it's like turning on a switch. So quick. So I've been recently updating my website because I've gotten a lot of reviews, right? So a lot of our babes, Seraphine included, I verbally share her story because she told me her story, right? She's in here sharing how she's applying it, even though she's not specifically dating. So for me in particular, I know I need to be moving in December. And I'm really focused on, connecting with you all and building this business because it's an international business now. And not just that, I've only been building this for, a year on TikTok, but really, getting the blueprint out there in the last few months. So now I'm going to start focusing on pushing the content I've created onto different platforms. So it's going to just continue to grow. But my primary is always going to be here on TikTok because this is where, I love it here, right? If I liked other platforms, that's where I'd be. That's another thing that ties back into the blueprint. Once you start getting yourself on different platforms, dating platforms, social media platforms, you're going to start getting different results. Okay. So in that aspect, right? I come on here, like I don't solicit gifts. I just come on here to teach and connect with people. So when I receive a gift, it's always like a really nice surprise and a pleasure. And I say that because, was it yesterday? I think there's been 2 men who have come into my chat recently, just like, sharing me in gifts, which is amazing because why? I'm talking about men who invest. I'm not necessarily looking for men to, invest in me in that manner, but it's fun to see that, right? Especially because you can start doing that in different formats. Okay. And the cool thing is about my system is you're seeing what they're offering you. Sometimes you'll ask, right? Because it's very feminine for you to ask for investment. But you first and foremost want to just turn on the switch and see what they're going to provide. Because that's what a provider does, right? You want to give him targets to hit, but you also want to make sure that he's actually doing what is natural to him. Because you're not telling him exactly how to invest. You're not telling him X, Y, and Z, the story to navigate to the end to get to you, okay? What you're doing is turning on his masculine switch and seeing how he's going to invest and taking a step back and then choosing, do you accept that or not? Because that's a standard, right? Because a lot of men are just going to come in here saying, oh, let me take you for a walk, a drink, let's go to the gym, let's go for coffee, right? Very low effort. But once they start investing a little bit more, you're going to see, right? So for example, I was talking to this guy. I haven't onboarded him onto my roster, meaning giving him access to my phone number. But we've been chatting and I was talking about coffee, and guess what? He didn't offer to like take me to where I normally go to coffee. What did he say? Oh, let me buy you some coffee. I was like, okay, investment, not just like, let me go take you out for a coffee. He was saying what his favorite coffee was, X, Y, and Z. He normally gets some here, whatever, right? And he's like, I'll get you a bag next time. I was like, okay, but don't just buy me coffee because that's going to be a little bit useless to me. Why? Because I don't just straight black coffee. So I requested to make it more personalized, right? More personalized. It is the actual coffee bag. And I said, hey, some coffee creamer and some stevia would make it perfect. And he was like, I'll make it special for you. Okay. Investment. Why haven't I onboarded him? Well, like Seraphine and I were just kind of mentioning, we're in different seasons. Okay. So in my season, I know that I'm building this business. I'm very, very focused on, because what do we talk about in here? Finite resources that you're giving to men: time, attention, validation, physical presence. Okay. So time, attention, validation, and physical presence. So these are finite resources, meaning if I'm giving a man this, that's where my focus is. But my focus is right now with you all, because that's where I would rather be spending my time. In addition to that, like I said, I'm moving. My mom just recently came to me saying my sister is thinking about moving out to Washington and wants my mom to go. So now I'm thinking about, okay, well, yeah, I have extended family still here in Florida, but what's stopping me from leaving? Okay. So now I'm starting to think even bigger picture of like what my seasons are going to start looking like. So yeah, I can easily go out on dates. Do you know how many men are like texting me on a daily basis, trying to take me out on the apps? Like that's not the issue, right? And that's what I'm telling you in phase 1 of my system, you're not going to have that issue. You're going to have an abundance of men to choose from. But the funny thing is about abundance is you start getting a little picky, right? And you're like, if I have all this, you're gonna take my finite resources, it better be worth it. But most women and men don't realize this, right? I've been picking on this one creator because we kind of got into it the other night, and it's fascinating. She blocked me, ended up writing something about me. One of my followers ended up saying, hey, she's talking shit about you. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went onto my burner, saw it, whatever. I was still signed into my burner, and one of her videos popped up. It was like a jump scare. Anyways, long story short, she's like yapping about, I made a TikTok on it today. It was like, oh, she's humbled anytime a man gives him or gives her his time and attention. She's humbled anytime a man gives her time and attention. And to me, when you're a blueprint babe and when you're teaching and like learning my philosophy, because philosophy from psychology, sociology, and economics, like you can't really, this is going to be more structural that you can argue with, right? It's not feelings is what I'm trying to say, right? She's based on feelings and like emotions and experiences, which is very, very valid. Experience are valid, but the feeling aspects are not truths. They're stories, right? So she's saying, you know, time and attention should be so humble. Like that's what you should be going after in dating. And if you're requiring and requesting anything else, you're doing it wrong. And to me, that's not how it works. Why? Because men and women, masculine, feminine polarities, men already know, healthy men know that they are providers and protectors. And if they're not stepping up into that, they haven't grown into it. No one has pushed them to do that. People have been enabling them, like women like her. Okay. So she pulls off this, and you can go like search her page. Her vibe is very much cool girl. Okay. And cool girl doesn't get you anywhere with men. In fact, she says she's an advocate for men. Okay. But clearly she's enabling them, because if she's humbled by time and attention from a man, girl, the bar is in hell. Okay. And the bar is in hell. So why do you want to raise that bar? It's called standards. So if a man is coming to you for time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie, we're going to talk about dating in an economy, because that's what it is. That's what life is. Life in different aspects are economies, supply and demand. Okay. So You are in demand by this man. He wants your resources, your finite resources. When you give this to a man, okay, you're never going to give these back. Never going to get this back. Time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie. You're never going to get this back. Okay? This creator is arguing, well, yeah, he's giving you the same thing. It's like, well, no shit, Sherlock, because he wants mine. So of course he has to give these. But mine, now that I know he wants it, what is supply and demand? You get to set the price. If you're in demand, you get to set the price, i.e. standards. Okay? So when you start raising your standards, you're going to keep yourself from low quality experiences. Because if you're a woman who is humbled, don't fucking piss me off today, okay? Don't fucking piss me off, okay? As soon as I saw that, I made a video of me, and I had just I was walking my dog, so that's one of the first things I do in the morning. So I was looking a little rough too, and I didn't want to post it. And I was like, I don't even care how rough I look. I was like, don't piss me off, okay? Because this woman, if she's empowering men, or not just empowering men, what does she say? An advocate for men, and she does talk therapy, fake talk therapy on TikTok, right? Girl, don't piss me off, okay? Don't piss me off. Don't play something and feelings are not facts. Psychology, sociology, economics, how women behave, masculine and feminine polarity, that you can't argue with. Those are facts, okay? So feelings are not facts. Being humbled by a man's time and attention, realizing that he's robbing you blind, you're going to continue to find yourself in shitty situations. I don't want that for you. That's why I literally created the blueprint. Why? Because I personally, past versions of myself, have experienced shitty situations. And I was realizing, you know what? I don't want to be doing that anymore. Why would I ever put myself in that position? Okay. When you realize that, you're like, oh shit, raise your standards. But when you raise your standards, it's going to feel uncomfortable, especially if you are accustomed to people-pleasing men, okay? Because men, if you notice, they have very big egos and what I call very strong frames in reality, meaning they're very opinionated. It is how it is with them, and trying to shift them is like trying to push down a very strong tree. It's very hard to, okay? Most men aren't pushovers. Women, on the other hand, are. Okay, so what the blueprint teaches you is to not be a pushover, take a step back, learn how to vet these men, and then decipher what is best for you. Instead of being humbled by time and attention and just being enamored by a man just fucking validating you. Gross, ick, raise your standards, okay? Because even the hobo in front of your gas station will give you time, attention, and validation. Look at you. Hello? Right? So you can't be humbled by bullshit like that in the dating market, because dating is a market. Hi, Lives. How are you? It's a market. Okay. So when you look at it as an economy, it always is going to be supply and demand. And if you position yourself appropriately in the market, which phase 1 of my blueprint teaches you, right? How, with the right pictures, the right words. And what does that do? It attracts men. Because why? You're an attractive woman. You just need to market yourself appropriately. And most women aren't marketing themselves. Why? They're not even on the apps, or even worse, they're just throwing up just kind of random ass pictures, not really doing anything in their profile, and then hoping and praying it attracts men. And yeah, it's going to attract men, but maybe not the quality of men that you're looking for. Okay? Maybe not the quality of men. So drop your questions in the chat. Okay. Florida, yuck, food prices way too high. I love Florida, man. Love it. But we'll see if Washington's on the table. Washington State. So that's a whole different world out there. But I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready for a new chapter in life. So I'm not necessarily closed down to it. I'm not thrilled about it because of the weather. I love the sun. So dealing with the climate and yeah, it's beautiful over there. And I think the beauty is what's the most enticing aspect, right? I don't believe you. How come you're not married? I've been there, done that. And I just don't feel the need to get married to any of the men that I have dated. Okay. I did it successfully too. I married my high school sweetheart trust fund baby. Had a nice big old rock. like most marriages, you throw the first one out. And if you don't throw the first one out, lucky you. Okay. But most of the time you throw the first one out. Okay. If you throw multiple out, you have a picking issue. Okay. And for me, I am not going to, if I want to get trapped into a marriage again, because marriage is a trap for women. Okay. If I want to get trapped into a marriage again, I'm going to do it like to the best of my ability. So that trap is, I still feel very free in my bird in the cage. Okay. Okay. How to ask for better investment, bigger than coffee, bear claw. So first and foremost, phase 1, you have to market yourself. Phase 2 in my system is once you start getting your matches, you start vetting. You start vetting for investment and you get those scripts in my system. So you ask for better investments by asking better questions. And I give you those scripts. So if you're interested in my system, choose your adventure. It is a one-time purchase of $157. Or you can choose the adventure of coming into my community where you get weekly group coaching. We're having group coaching Tuesdays and Wednesdays every week. You also get extra content, screenshots of what's going on with the men that I'm currently talking to, vetting, all the things, and you can do the same thing. What the cool thing is that I'm there to help guide you through your personal, questions, especially like our friend here asking for how to ask for better. That's what you learn in my system. Quality is the key. Yes, ma'am. Like to pay back by cooking them something. Yeah, no. You're not here to pay back men. What are you talking about? No. We're not here to pay back men because we're not in debt to men. They're in debt to us. Really, okay? They're in debt to us. Why? Because they want us. They want you as an individual woman. Okay, so you as an individual woman get to decipher, is this man even qualified to even talk to me? Because you can talk to the hobo all day long and be humbled by his time and attention. Okay, have fun. You want to be a little charity case? Work on, girl, have fun. Don't come over here, look, okay? Because I can't help you. We don't live in the same realities because you're living in Delulu land with this feelings woman, right? You can't do that. But what you can do is understand the reality of nature, psychology, sociology, economics, because it's not that hard. Okay. So I have compiled a few of my reviews of Blueprint Babes on my website. So in that aspect, I'm going to show you. That's not it. The course, the laws, and everything are pro-women, not men. This is not being pro anything, okay? This is just about being a woman and being a man. I am pro you being your gender and me being my gender, okay? So I like to be treated like a queen as a woman. And if you aren't a man capable of treating a woman like a queen, you're just not qualified to date me then. That's it. Very simple. It's not pro this or that, right? Hello from Illinois. Hi, how are you? Let me see. Okay. 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 Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Chico, what are you yapping about? Why are you yapping? Why are you here? Are you adding value or are you just robbing me blind? Because you're still yapping about divorce. We're not talking about divorce here, okay? We're talking about attracting men who invest. So you're yapping for no fucking reason, dude. What are you yapping about? Because that's a lot of words and you're not getting that amount of attention from me. So wrap it up. Keep it simple. What are you trying to say? Okay? Because as soon as I just scanned divorce, I'm like, you're not even on topic, bro. I'm not going to argue with your bullshit, okay? Go take your bullshit to your mama, okay? Because she doesn't even like you either with your bullshit. I can guarantee you that. And even worse, take it to your daddy if you have one. And then let your daddy fix that for you, okay? Don't piss me off today, okay? You know what you get when you're in here with me, okay? I'm not in the mood. That woman pissed me off with her. I'm humbled by a man's time and attention. Bitch, get out of here. You put me in a bad mood for the rest of the day. And, some people are clearly going to get the brunt of that. Not my problem. Listen, I know myself very, very well. Some people just get the mean version of me, okay? But clearly you deserved it. Clearly you asked for it, because I don't know who you are. You just come in here yapping. Okay? There we go. All right, hold on. So, that would put me in a bad mood. Yes, it puts me in such a bad mood. You know why? The worst thing that it puts me in a bad mood is because this woman is building her platform on talk therapy, right? Let me take it back, right? Let me take it back. Let me just tell you what happened, because I'm telling you what happened today, but this happened a few days ago, right? I come past her feed sometimes. I don't follow her or anything, but her lives will pop up, and she's the type of TikToker that'll pull people up, listen to their problems, help them navigate through it, but really she's just giving them a lot of validation and not giving them solutions, I feel, right? So first and foremost, that's not my personal format of content I like to enjoy, especially if you don't have any certifications in that aspect or background to support it. Because the first thing when you pop into her live, it says, I'm not a therapist. I was like, okay, so why are you playing one? Okay. To each their own, right? Anyways, I had jumped into her live the other night because I heard her say something about roster dating. So I was like, oh, hello, the on brand, right? It's I'm gonna pop right in, okay? So that's the only reason it caught my attention. And all I put in her live is roster dating is the best thing for women to do. And she goes, oh, I would love to hear your perspective. Let me join you back on. And she's just very much she's the personality that comes off very soft and feely and fuzzy and bubbly, but that's a mask, and that shit drops real quick. And then you see the vicious type of woman underneath it, right? I'm sure as a woman, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know those type of women, right? They're bubbly and sweet and da-da-da-da-da. And then all of a sudden, when you do something they don't like, that mask drops and they're down your throat. I don't know if you get it, right? I've been in a lot of women-dominated fields, okay? I worked for MAC Cosmetics, right? So narcissistic, to say the least, right? That brand attracted a lot of mean, ugly people, right? Internally, okay? Wearing a lot of masks, no pun intended, okay? So the only reason I started working at that brand is because the manager there asked me to apply. And I just ended up loving it because I grew up with makeup. Anyways, let me get back to my story. So she brings me on and I start telling her my philosophy, and she's like, well, this is so wrong. And I end up hearing the men's side, and you da-da-da-da-da. And I don't know what, anyway, she goes off on me. And I feel the tension building, because you can tell when someone's attacking you, right? You can tell when I'm attacking someone in here, right? Duh. But you can also tell when nervous systems are dysregulated. When I'm attacking a fucking loser man in here, I'm not bothered. But I could tell in her tone, she was very bothered by what I was saying, because I had to take a step back and I felt myself get into fun. So I was notating that to her, right? And it was funny because I had mentioned to her, what do we say? Investing, men need to invest, make your life easier, and keep your nervous system regulated. So she hooked onto that. She's like, oh, so it's his job to regulate your nervous system? I was like, no, it is his job not to dysregulate it. Okay. But most men, I was like, so you see how you and I are going back and forth? That's nervous system dysregulation. She's like, no, this is a conversation. Haven't you seen my show before, or whatever the fuck she called it? And I was like, briefly, right? I don't know, some random texting me. I haven't been anyways, so, yep. She ends up not being happy about it. I'm in her chat. I meet a friend in there who's supporting me, right? Hello, how are you? And I end up, just not going to her page, but like, you know, that search page and a few videos pop up, and I was like, no wonder she hates my positioning. It's a humbling experience to have a man's time and attention, according to her. Okay, a pick me, good, total pick me, right? And at least like I have the balls to like, you know, do a think piece on her and not block her for it. She ends up blocking me, does a think piece on me. Hilarious, right? I was like, come on, bro, at least have the balls. And the worst part about it is that her platform, you go into her comments, it's all men. It's all men. So if she is there to not empower men, what is the word again? I keep confusing it with empower, but an advocate for men. My genuine question to her was, and I left it like when I made that think piece, I was like, genuine question, are you actually advocating for men, or are you enabling men? Because with that thought process, pick me process, she's enabling men. Why? Because she's not making them step up to be the basic bone of what a masculine man is. What? A provider and a protector. Bare bones. And what do we talk about around here? If a man wants your resources, time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie, he better be coming up with his resources. Because he can't come in with feminine resources unless you want a little bitch, right? If you're going to marry one, you may have better luck with that type of man because you can put him in his place. But as a woman, you probably want a masculine man providing and protecting. Okay? So if you're enabling him, saying, oh, I just need your time, you don't have to do anything for me, I'll pay my half, I don't need gifts, I don't need investment, what are you training him to do? What are you teaching him to do? I keep saying training, but men need training the same way women need training. You're teaching people how to treat you. You're communicating your standards and your boundaries and what you will and will not accept. Okay? So you get to pick and choose the type of men out there. You get to pick and choose the type of mindset you have. But I know for sure that the type of men that are following her, funny enough, some men, after that little live experience, some men ended up following me, okay? But after that, right, I know none of them qualify. Because if they're entertaining, you know, that thought process, they're not at the level over here. They're going to be sorely mistaken, like our friends, like, I don't even want to call them friends, like the loser men that come into the chat that argue for their limitation. Right? Okay. If you want her name, go look at my, I don't remember her name. She's blonde hair. I added her. I don't have a problem adding people that I'm having like a think piece with. If it's like a direct conversation, because she started it. Okay. She started it. I thought it was just going to be a guest, and I had even communicated. That was my first time going and like talking to someone over TikTok in that type of a live discussion. Okay. It was weird. She got real weird with me. Okay. And funny enough, one of the girls who I guess often had seen her, she ends up supporting me, follows me, and this girl now is blocked by that same creator too. Can you explain what regulate means? Yes. So nervous system regulation. Same thing for you as a man, right? If you're in fight, flight, or fawn, your nervous system is dysregulated. When you're in fight, flight, or fawn, you're stressed out, right? Your nervous system, the bells are ringing saying, bro, you gotta give it a rest. I need to go into rest and digest. Chill. The issue is that most men push women into fight, flight, or fawn. Why? Because they act a damn fool. Because they make life harder instead of making life easier. Because they argue for their limitations and they play their little stupid games instead of being like, taking accountability and be like, you know what? I fucked up. Let me fix it. That keeps our nervous system regulated. Okay? Instead of fighting for your limitations, going around circles until you finally say, I'm sorry, babe. Stop with your bullshit. Take it to your mom and your dad because clearly they didn't beat the fuck out of you enough. Okay? They need to start now. I'm not an advocate for beating children, but the more and more I understand life as a human, and of course I study family, youth, and community science, so I'm not a proponent of it, but the more and more I start seeing it, the children that actually need it, right? Not the people that are being abused, right? But the kids that need more tough love, they better get it early on, because guess what? They're going to get it later on. You get to pick and choose, okay? So whether they get it later on through incarceration or beatings by adults, it's coming. Clearly it's coming, right? Okay. So I have a good question. If a man is supposed to do these things, what is a woman supposed to do? Okay. So that's a good question, but you should know this as a man already, right? If a man is investing, you're already taking this woman's resources, time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie. What else comes with that? Other qualities that you're looking for in a woman. I can't answer that question for you. Okay. So the qualities that you're looking for, that's what you're vetting for. Same with women, but I'm teaching them with my system. Okay. So if you're ready for my system, tap the banner below. It is $157 one-time purchase, or you can join the community. It is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. Okay. You're getting the scripts to learn how to turn on his masculine switch. Most importantly, phase 3, which I haven't really touched on today, because I know most of you are familiar with my content. Where are you? Here it is. Phase 3, the most important phase. Learning how to stay detached and observe investment signals behavior over time, because that's what's going to actually matter. So I attracted my ex-boyfriend with this system. We were together for 6 months, okay? I put the right pictures up, because phase 1 of the blueprint is your marketing phase. The right pictures, the right words, you're going to start attracting men. Easy, simple. But if you don't know what you need to put up, and that's what phase 1 of the blueprint tells you to do. Okay, so I solved that problem for you. And you can do the same thing on all the apps, as many as you choose. Phase 2, you start in vetting for. Turning on their masculine switch and seeing who's going to invest, who's going to make life easier, who's going to keep your nervous system regulated, okay? The life easier nervous system regulation, I didn't realize until after that relationship. Why do you think it was after that relationship? Because he stressed me the fuck out, and he only made life only a little bit easier. Was his investment me never driving, him paying for everything, and him also giving me $5,000 in cash and bills paid in that 6 months worth me continuing a relationship after that? No. Okay? No. Because why would I ever invest more of my resources, time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie, if this man can't even bring the resources that he needs to as a man, provider and protector? Because in the good old age of 2026 and going forward, because we're in a modern dating economy, protectors in this world, we don't need a lot of out in the wild protection. We need men making our life easier and keeping our nervous system regulated. Okay? Very, very simple. But if you don't know how to find these men, you don't know how to attract them, you don't know how to talk to them, you don't know how to vet for them, the simple system is simple enough for you to apply and get results like this. So as I mentioned, I have updated my website with more reviews because we've grown exponentially, right? And our community is going to continue to grow, of course, here on TikTok, but I'm going to be expanding over on different platforms. Where are you? Bear with me. Okay. So you can always check out the reviews. The link is at the top of my bio. Also, if you're ready to purchase the blueprint, stuff like that. But I want to share with you this particular review. This is from one of my blueprint babes. She bought the system on her own, and then she ended up joining my community. This is Meg. She said, first time I read the plan, I honestly thought, is this it? But the genius is in the simplicity. Using your system, I see a big increase in the number of matches. When you have more to pick from, the ones that don't work for you are easy to dismiss. I wish all women had this. And we have quite a significant, Seraphine, I actually use you as well, your ex situation painting, right? So we have definitely added a lot to the reviews. I think the reviews, I had only had 4 previously. I won't lie. I've just been taking snapshots. I've just been lazy, and I finally put it together, right? Because I think it's valuable for everybody to see and not just hear me talk. I know how important that is. Okay. Okay. I know, right? Okay, so what books am I reading back there? Oh, a lot. I've been collecting books for a while. You know, one of the hardest things for me to let go of, when I left my ex-husband, I only fit whatever fit in my car. So a lot of my books, my college textbooks, a lot of the books that I was reading in general, I just had to let go of. And I've always wanted like a really nice big library. So ever since then, you know, any book, I have a lot of like journals. Most of the top shelves are all of my like finished journals and like old planners, stuff like that. Other books are really based on this, right? Who you are as a person, psychology, sociology, economics. Actually, let's go do a little tour now that you have me like intrigued here. Okay, so a lot of it is what supports the blueprint, right? Brene Brown, Raising Strong is a good one. Core transformation. Creating money, that one actually falls into it because you're creating money through men. Funny enough. Okay, so Spiral Dynamics is another good one. Spiritual Nutrition is a good one. Becoming Supernatural. Claim Your Power is another good one. Zip It, I need to finish reading. This one is a very important one I need to do. But these are like the core books that are really, really, really that built the blueprint. It is Internal Family Systems, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, The Body Keeps the Score, and Change Your Genes, Change Your Life. So these, I would say these 3 books for sure have definitely impacted and switched things up. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little bit nerdy. Well, I don't want to say nerdy, but my special interest has always been how we are as people, why we do what we do. Hi, Luca. Oh, that got a follow from you, Chico, right? After I chewed your ass out earlier. See? Tough love around here. Tough love, okay? Because men need that. I won't lie, right? Men need the softness from women, but men don't value softness all the time. Men do not value a woman that's going to be a pushover. Okay? They just don't. Then the men that do are dangerous men. They're dangerous men. Okay. So what other questions do we have? Who's ready for the system? Right now, the system, one-time purchase, $157. And you can also join the community if you don't want to do just the system. You can get the support while applying the system. It's a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. You get weekly group coaching, one-on-one, guidance on your particular situation. Throw your screenshots in the chat. Share any content that's inspiring you. And I also create other content to support you on your journey. So anytime, like if you join today, it's all chat. So you get to go see all the content that has already been there. Women that have already gotten the guidance of one-on-one. We have almost 25 people now in the community. So again, growing. Let's see. We are all ages, all ethnicities, and we're all over the world, which is really cool. I love that. And I'm super excited to start like expanding on different platforms to see how other people resonate with it. Because clearly has gained a lot of traction here. So the blueprint now, we had the 1.0 of blueprint. We are shifting into the 2.0 of the blueprint. So our founding members like Seraphine, anybody else who's in here who is already a blueprint babe, you have the 1.0 version. I am currently updating it to the 2.0, and that is why it is now $157.57 into the community. Because we're revising. We've gotten a lot of research, not just my own now, but all of what my blueprint babes have been saying. So it's been very, very cool to see this elevate and just really get down to more simple. The more fat you can trim out of your life and the simpler life can be, the quicker you're going to get to what you want. So the blueprint has already gotten such phenomenal reviews with a lot of women. But now it's time to expand. Okay, so what other questions do we have? What other questions do we have? Let me show you some of the other reviews since we're talking about this. This babe likes to be anonymous. She says her system prevents a long, wasteful talking stage. Meg says it's worth it just to end the anxiety of dating. You changed my life. This babe is in our community. She says the blueprint has finally given me something concrete to evaluate. Marriage may or may not be in my future, but I will never again confuse a man enjoying access to me with a man genuinely improving my life. Meg says, we already did Meg here. This one we've had for quite some time. That one is our tried and true reviews. Chantel says, facts, I'm a blueprint babe. I've raised my standards. Melissa is also in the community. She said, I purchased the other day, have my bio up, getting some great matches. I redid my bio with the blueprint and my matches got so much better literally overnight. We've done Alexis. This one's one of my favorites. She said, first try and first success, the blueprint already paid for itself. So she got her hair done, okay? This man paid to get her long, beautiful, very thick hair done. So it beyond paid for itself, okay? Same thing with Meg. It paid for itself 2 times over in 4 days for me. It took Jen 10 days. Meg says 4 days. Second date, he bought me flowers again and Starbucks drink. Literally all because of you. You changed my life. Jill is in my community. She found me on TikTok like you all. She says, it's going good. It's so working. I got my nails paid for today. Haven't met the guy yet. Never. Not even for my ex-husband of 17 years. The system works. Yes, babe. Roster dating, including online dating. Yep. It's just dating in general, right? And in my world, right, when you are talking to me, the definition here, roster dating is vetting before you attach. Vetting men before you attach. Because as a woman, you're going to easily get your emotions attached to a man the more resources you pour into him. Like anything. That's just life in general. That's business. That's economy. That's called sunk cost fallacy. So a lot of people fall into that fallacy. Why? Because you've put so much time, attention, validation, physical presence all the way up to the cookie that you're like, well, I don't want to start over with someone else. Why can't he just be what I need him to be? Well, baby girl, he already showed you he's not. Why are you arguing for his and your limitation when you can easily just let that shit go and find someone else? Because as a woman, when you're online, because phase 1 of my system, right? The right words, the right pictures. And immediately you start attracting men. Here's the thing. You're going to attract all types of men like you currently are, right? All types of men. Men who are losers, men who are winners, men who are rich, men who are short, men who are fat, all sorts of things, right? Duh. Okay. It's a market. Same way you go shopping, it's a market. You get to pick and choose whatever you want. But if you don't know how to vet and you don't know how to figure out, right? Men want you, but what do you want? As a woman, bare bones from a man, investment. Because this man needs to have money to wine and dine you, to treat you like a queen, to do the things that you want. Okay? Eventually, some men will give you money right off the bat. Not all men, but some. So one of my babes that I attracted on a dating app, okay? I turned 40 in January. This guy was in his mid to early 20s. He is a successful early, building his business entrepreneur, e-commerce, he said, right? Before I even met him, multiple cash apps totaling $500. Never in my life have I experienced that before. Okay. So other women are getting all sorts of different experiences, not just better matches, better quality matches, not just men giving them money, not just wine and dining them, but less anxiety, more options to choose from, easier to let go, easier to detach. Okay. Being able to use this system on men out in the wild, even though they don't want them. They're just getting better treatment from men. Why wouldn't you want that? Okay. Okay. Exactly. I'm glad it makes sense, right? So if you're ready for my system, you can tap the banner, right? Phase 1 of the system, dating apps, vetting for men. Phase 2 and phase 3 is staying detached. So it's a one-time purchase, $157, or you can get the system and guidance applying it in my community called The Lab. That's a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. So choose your adventure, and if you do become a Blueprint Babe, drop it in the chat. I want to make sure that I welcome you. But what other questions do we have? What other questions do we have? The men always end up in my DMs. You see this guy? I left you a PM. Of course you did. Of course you did. You need more of my resources. Of course you did. Do those who join the monthly community get access to 2.0? Yeah. You will too, babe. So anyone who currently, that's part of my system, is like once you've already invested in it, you're going to get the update. So Seraphine, if you want more guidance applying the update and just applying the blueprint in general when you're ready to like actually date, then I think that the lab will be good for you. And then for you too, since you're already a Blueprint Babe, I'll send you a discount code for the first month free. Okay. I give you incentives, right? Especially when you purchase, because here's the thing, Blueprint 2.0, 1.0 lasted for how long? I think it's been like 4 months. No joke. So 2.0 is coming up. So the women who invested, because the women who got 1.0 was literally, depending on when they purchase it, I had different discounts going on, or not discounts, but like sales going on, or not sales, but promotions really, because the original price was 107. But the 2.0 it's very much a streamlined version of that that's going to accelerate results. So 2.0 is $157 because 1.0, honestly, I had to raise my standards the same way I'm teaching you ladies dating, right? I gave very, very good access, easy access to the founding members. And the founding members clearly are getting phenomenal results. So the system, like anything, right? Once you start understanding, like dating, supply and demand, right? The demand, the only reason the lab was created is because when I created the Blueprint Babes were like, hey, I want more help. Can we get a community? Can we get something? The lab was created. And now inside of the lab, the Blueprint Babes are like, can we get more scripts? Can we get more guidance here? Can we get this? Women now who are in relationships are in the lab, like wanting more guidance in that. So that is coming because it's all the same stuff, right? It's just, it needs more detailed. What also is coming too is more streamlining of the safety protocols. So it's a nice, I don't want to say it's like a complete like facelift or anything, but it's going to be more streamlined, easier to apply. And then if you want guidance applying the system, that's where the lab comes into play. That's where the lab comes into play. Okay. Yeah, it's quick. Yeah, it was super quick. But the thing is that like I didn't even realize when I was putting the system together, like I was seeing my results, right? And I was obviously very happy with I can't be mad at $500. I can't be mad with my dumbass ex-boyfriend. Girl, look at the stories, look at the financial improvement, and not just that, right? So I was able to walk so you guys can run. That's why most of the Blueprint Babes were saying I'm getting immediate, overnight, life-changing results. Once I started hearing the market saying that to me, I'm like, okay, well, this system not only just works, but like it's working in different areas too. And immediately, better matches, investment, less anxiety, more clarity in choosing better quality men, being able to see people for who they are, practicing detachment. So like this past week, all the content that I created was focused around phase 3 of the Blueprint, which is staying detached, because that is the name of the game of life in general. But the more that you apply that in your dating life, especially once your numbers go up, meaning more men attracted to you, then it's going to get easier, right? The same way Meg said, where am I? Here we go. Okay. The same way Meg said, when you have more to pick from, the ones that don't work for you are easy to dismiss. Okay? And the blueprint is already simple as it is, right? It's already very, very simple system to apply. But now that I've gotten more data from women applying it, I'm able to clean it up even more. Because when I created it, it was just really my own results. But now that other women are applying the system in the same way that I've applied it and they're getting results like this, I know I can update it easily. And especially because the demand is there. I want more scripts. Can you give me more clarity here? What do I say in this situation? What do I do if I'm already in a relationship? Those kind of questions are coming up. So in 2.0, that's going to be addressed. Okay. A lot more. Really what the system does at the end of the day, it helps you get out of your emotions and choose men from a place of clarity and confidence. Because when you're not coming from a place of clarity and confidence from these men are going to rob you blind because you don't know what you want. And because you don't know what you want, and if you don't know the value of who you innately are as a woman, you're going to just get what you get. And most women are not happy with what men are giving. Why? Because most of them fucking suck. And especially if you're a type of woman who thinks I'm humbled by time and attention from a man, you're not going to get shit from him besides time and attention. Okay? And that's not what you need from a man. You need a man to be a provider and a protector, not a time and an attention whore. Big difference. But that's why those type of women are going to continue to fall into the trap that she's falling into. You can't save people like that unless they are open and willing to listen to the content. To each their own, right? But it's a dating market. Do you know how many men are going to love her for being a pick-me? Men love pick-me's. They're easy. All they have to do is give them time and attention because the pick-me doesn't realize resources. The pick-me doesn't realize this is an economy. The pick-me doesn't realize, yes, men and women have innate value. But if you are in demand as a woman, why are you just going to give every man your resources? Just because he gives you time and attention. Gross. Okay? That doesn't make sense. But if you continue to stay in your feelings and want to wear the rose-colored romance glasses, that's the shit that you're going to run into. Ugh. And it's cool. Romance is fun, right? You can have romantic dates. You can grow in love. You can grow into these feelings. But do you hear the word grow? Why would you have those feelings for a random ass person off the bat? You can't, right? Not realistically. If you feel that way, it's a lot of other things, okay? Do you recommend the roster when guys long distance are interested as well as local? Yes, Emma, for sure. Yep, for sure. How are you doing today, Emma? Welcome back. That's true. It's good to work on staying detached in general. Yep. Romance doesn't pay the bills. Amen, honey. Amen. Neither does time or attention, okay? Those are finite resources. So if they're finite resources, time, attention, validation, and physical presence, they need to be making some money, making some resources up because these are finite. If you can't make these back, but these are your money makers. This is your focus. Same thing with a man, right? But if he wants to take your focus away from things that you actually need to be doing, he better be replacing it with things that actually are of value to you. Not his time and attention. That's like high school, middle school shit. Okay? I don't get it. And a lot of women will say especially if you start dealing with a man who has a lot of shit going for him, right? Busy. Those women end up saying, well, he doesn't give me enough time. He doesn't give me enough attention. And yeah, sometimes that becomes an issue later on the road. But if he's not investing and if he's not using those resources, making money, getting fit, what is he doing? Because what else is that man doing? His hobbies, maybe. But then he's putting those resources where? probably taking it from another woman. No joke. Okay? Because that's what they do. It's what they do. In the blueprint, do you help me figure out how much they make? No. I don't help you. I mean, you can vet for that. If that's like a qualification for you, you can ask them. But I'd be strategic, That would be something where you would say, hey, drop your screenshot, and then we can navigate that. Okay? Because at the end of the day, like, yes, that matters, but you got to vet for it. I do not retire time or attention. Yeah. How do I access the blueprint? Okay, cool. So the blueprint, if you're ready for it, tap the banner below. You can just purchase the system. It's a one-time purchase, $157, or you can get the system along with guidance, right? Extra guidance applying it or applied to your, current situation. That is a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. So you get the system plus guidance. So choose your adventure. And if you do become a Blueprint Babe, let me know. I want to make sure that I welcome you. Same thing for any other babes who end up becoming Blueprint Babes. Drop it in the chat. I want to make sure that I welcome you. And you need to be generous in the first place, not make a lot. Yep, exactly. Because yes, finances are important, right? Money is important. We can't lie about that. Money is important. But if he has money and he's not generous, there's no resources coming to you. So he's out, okay? Unless you can figure out a way to tap into those resources, which I help you navigate in doing. If you want a provider and he wants to combine incomes, should you consider that option or stay firm? I would never combine. I would never combine my shit with his. Because why? Mine is mine. His is mine. That's how it just goes around here. Okay? You make your decisions though. But that's how I would do it. Why? Because I've already had the experience of being married and combining income. Never doing that again. Okay? There's no reason to combine it. Why would you combine it? I should have honestly, when I did that, I went to the bank, closing my account, trying to combine it. The banking people, they were giving me a hard time because they didn't want to close my bank account, but they were saying the same shit and I wasn't listening because I was a dumbass. Okay. You want to be a dumbass? Learn. Or you can learn, right? From what I'm saying. You can learn and experience the hard way. God forbid, right? Or make it work for you. But I don't see a point in doing it. Even after doing it. I don't see the point. I don't see it. I think you said you also have a YouTube account. It is coming. Hi, thank you so much. Yeah, so what I need to do as I'm continuing to expand, I'm just going to, as of right now, it's all the same handle, her quantum self. Okay. YouTube, Instagram. I think I updated my Instagram to that last night. I got Snapchat because I don't know anything about Snapchat. I'm not going to lie. When it came out, I was just like, the same way with TikTok. TikTok only got my attention because, no joke, I was working a part-time job at Home Depot and I was working with this woman. She was like in her mid to late 50s and she was on TikTok and I was like, what are you doing on TikTok? Changed my life. Completely changed my life, right? Because a lot of people have stories, right? Preconceived notions about an app. Same way people think about Tinder. Oh, it's just a hookup app. Girl, do you know how many amazing fucking dates I've found off of Tinder alone? Hundreds. Not even kidding. Okay? Not even kidding. So the YouTube is coming right now. I'm just going to be adding some of my older content. So if you're new here, that'd be a cool way to kind of like catch up because I think I'm going to backdate to like maybe 4 months. The YouTube, I'm not making videos just yet. That may come, but we'll see. Right now, what I'm going to figure out is how to take my lives, download them, and then upload those over onto YouTube. So kind of like Yeah, using the same content. Using the same content. Yeah, her quantum self. That's it. What about the idea that online dating are avoidance? There's some avoidant people out there, of course. But that's not all of it, right? You can't like make a blanket statement about things. That's an issue that most dating coaches are arguing for, the limitation of like, oh, there's avoidance, oh, they're scammers, oh, the losers, oh, you're just putting yourself on discount. Well, yeah, if you use it that way, of course. But I'm teaching you the opposite, so you don't have to worry about that shit over here, okay? Oh, you were telling your friend about my lives? Yeah. So eventually, she doesn't want TikTok. I've been trying to, my mom and my sister are the same way about TikTok. Not that I need them seeing my content or anything, but it's just so fun. How can you not want fucking TikTok? What? I don't get it. Whatever. To each their own. Okay, so if you're interested in becoming a Blueprint Babe, join us, right? I would love to welcome you, see you inside. It's a one-time purchase, $157, or you can join my community. You get the system plus guidance applying the system. It's a 6-month commitment, $57 a month, and it is well worth it. You get weekly group coaching, right? So we have weekly group coaching. As of right now, the times are Tuesday, 10 p.m., Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't make those, I'm always in the chat whenever you have any questions. So you'll always get that one-on-one time regardless, okay? Regardless. Alrighty, so yeah, that's something that I'm probably gonna have to figure out tonight. Maybe not, I don't know. I need to figure out what days I'm gonna start posting over there, but we'll see, yeah. It's all coming. Because I've only been on TikTok for about a year now. I started talking about dating content back then. Then I got into that 6-month relationship who I attracted with my system. Okay. Because back then I was still selling my system, but it only consisted of the first phase, the marketing phase, the right pictures, the right words. Because the right pictures and the right words is how I attracted my ex-boyfriend. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have matched with him. He wouldn't have pursued me. I wouldn't have gotten the investment. So phase 1 is getting out there. Phase 2 is vetting for, are they going to invest? What type of person are they? And then phase 3 is staying detached. Detach, and you get this graph in phase 3 of the blueprint. Investment signals, you're observing their investment signals behavior over time. Because that's actually what matters. So behavior in him and investment over time, while the investment was good, the behavior was not. But the behavior, what happened? It made my life a little bit harder. Why? Because he was dysregulating my nervous system. He was stressing me out. I don't need that shit. Yeah, the money's good. I miss the money sometimes. But girl, $5,000 in 6 months, I told him by the time that relationship was wrapping up, I literally said, being with you feels like having 2 full-time jobs. Girl, I've never had 2 full-time jobs in my life, but you know what I have done? I've been working full-time and going to school full-time, and being with him felt more stressful than that. Doesn't work out. Why would I ever continue a commitment with that type of person? But a lot of women, why do they do that? Because that's the only man. They've given all these resources. They're saying, oh, I had such a great holiday season. Oh, he's given me all this money. Yeah, he may be bad, but he'll change. What can I do to change him, right? Nothing. Until he wants to change, okay? But that's not my problem to fix. So I got rid of him. And when I got rid of him, all these other men came into my life, okay? All these other men. No joke, on one dating app, I have over 2,000 matches, okay? And I'm not in a season of like dating. I'm a researcher. I'm collecting a lot of data, and it helps me understand how to navigate the blueprint with you. That's how I literally designed it. Yeah, roster dating. Yeah. I don't want to change diapers or men. Yep. You don't want to change diapers or men? Wait, you got to change the man if he has a poopy diaper, though. And most men have poopy diapers. Okay? See, trash that one, get 10 more. Because it's literally that easy. It's literally that easy. You just have to qualify these men. Because most of them don't qualify to even be in your orbit, breathe the same air as you. No joke. I know it sounds like crazy, but Most of these men aren't shit. But most of these men know they're not shit, but still think that they are deserving of a woman. Time, attention, validation, physical presence, all the way up to the cookie. Those are those men that look a fucking mess, right? Because they do nothing for their appearance. Because I'm sorry to say it, right? Appearance matters. It's aesthetics, right? The better you look, life treats you better, people treat you better, the world treats you better, and literally you make more money. So I was in the cosmetic space. I was a professional makeup artist for 10 years. And then after that, I got into men's grooming. So when you're not like keeping up with yourself, right? Even if you don't want to wear makeup on a daily basis, because I don't, right? Especially after I burnt out of that career, it's taken me a long time to like want to do it. You still have to look somewhat presentable, right? It all matters, right? Situationships totally suck. No, you can't, right? So what other questions do we have? And if you're ready to become a Blueprint Babe, drop it in the chat. I want to make sure that I welcome you. It's a one-time purchase of $157, or you can join the community. It is $57 a month, and it's a 6-month commitment. You get the entire system, but you also get the extra guidance, group coaching. You get other women. You get to see insights of how I'm navigating their situations too. So you get to see all of that because that supports you. Whether you're in that type of situation or not exactly, you're going to see how it's going to apply to your situation. Alrighty, friends. I just saw this one. Tell me more about the guy providing for you who haven't even met you yet. So one of them, I wouldn't say he like provided, but he gave me $500. So yeah, it's like providing. But when I say providing, I mean like bills paid, like cash over time. So he invested at that point because we only went on one date. So that man invested heavily, $500. He wined and dined me. He bought me an orchid. Let's enjoy the blooms as they almost gone, right? It used to be full bloom, but that's what happens with an orchid. So that was fun, right? One time. I'll take it. Take it. Who's going to argue with that? Would it have been cool if it continued? Of course, but you can't control that. That's why you're roster dating. So when one falls off, you have at least had a high standard to get a really nice quality date and then some. Okay? But if I wasn't applying my system, I wouldn't have found that man. Same thing with the rest of my Blueprint babes. They wouldn't be getting these investments. They wouldn't be getting these wine and dinings. They wouldn't be getting anxiety lowered because once one doesn't work out for you, you literally have more to vet. You're no longer in scarcity. You're in abundance. Her son, 25, last few girls, he's asked on dates, immediately asked if he was going to spoil them. Yeah, I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Okay? Do not blame them. Okay? As women should be spoiled. Okay? That makes a lot of men uncomfortable, especially at that age, because they don't have shit going on for them. Unless you're the type of men that I date in the 20s, who literally, right? I think the guy that I was dating, like your friend's 25, he had to have been like 23, 24, 25, no joke, like mid to early 20s. I turned 40 in January. That dude, e-commerce business, very successful, $500 was nothing to him. Being a gentleman was nothing to him. Him wine and dining me was a treat to him. Why? He flat out said, he's like, I don't want to date women my age. They want too much. They want too much of my time. They don't know what they want. They stress me out and I need to focus on work. I need someone mature who gets it. I get it because that's what I'm doing. And that's exactly the type of partner that I'm looking for. Because regardless if I am going on one date, I'm vetting for long term, right? Other things pop up that don't match with long term, okay? So there was things with him that didn't match up long term. And that's fine. I still, one, had a really nice high quality date from a man that I would have never qualified before because I wasn't dating men in their 20s, right? The only reason I expanded my reach was my ex-boyfriend. We celebrated my 40th birthday together. He was 31 and he had flat out said, he's like, you don't realize how hot you are to me and younger guys. And I was like, okay, well, once we ended our relationship, I opened up. And boy, was he right. Boy, was he right. Okay. And the thing is that are all of them going to be that way? No. That's why you're vetting for gems. They're gems for a reason. Okay. But the issue is that most women expect all men to be that way. And your friend's son, no hate or anything like that, no shade, right? He may just not be shit man. Who knows? I don't know. And also, it depends on what these women are asking and how they're asking too. And if they actually like him, that's another thing. Because I teach here, like, you're dating men because you like them, but you also require certain things out of them. I have my 4 kids and don't have time for puppy love, attachment, or time. Exactly. I'm 55 and been single for 12 years. How can I find a date? Oh, that's so easy. Welcome. I teach you in my system, right? Phase 1 of my system is your marketing phase. You get on the apps, right? The same way you're on the internet. Easy thing though is I tell you what pictures and what words to put up. You easily start attracting men. Like I attracted my ex-boyfriend who ended up investing in me, $5,000 cash and bills paid. I never drove when I was with him. I never paid for anything when I was with him. And he was younger than me on top of it, okay? We celebrated my 40th birthday together. He was 31. Phase 2 is I vetted for that man. So phase 1, I attracted him. Phase 2, I vetted to make sure, is he going to make my life, invest in me, make my life easier. And now I'm teaching nervous system regulation. Because in that relationship, he stressed me the fuck out. And why should women have to deal with those type of men? We deal with them too long, too much. At this first sign of dysfunction, let them go. Okay? Because that's how they learn. They either fucking step up or step out. But the more we forgive them, the more we nag them, the more we give them rope to hang themselves, funny enough, they don't end up hanging themselves. They're going to stay there as long as they possibly can. Okay? Hi, Isabella. We have a blueprint babe in the house. She's in our community. Okay. He's a sweetheart, but wants true love, marriage, and family. Okay, yeah. But true love, marriage, and family requires what? Him being a provider and a protector, which requires what? Him treating women like that. But his job as a man is to vet for women the same way I'm teaching women to vet for men. Hi, Luca. It's just opposite, right? Because there's a lot of women and a lot of dating coaches out there that teach women to scam men. I'm not teaching that here. Okay? Yeah. When he finds the one, he'll want to spoil her. Yep. Agree. What did he do? Hi, babe. How are you? What did he do to stress me out? A lot of things. Because I didn't vet the same way I'm teaching now. But that lesson, that dating lesson, taught me, and that's how I created the blueprint, and that's why you all are having such success with it, right? So he stressed me out, first and foremost, what he would call his texting style. Constant, all the time, back to back, right? Ding, 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 ding. Stressing me out, wanting to know why I'm not responding fast enough, all the kind of things around texting. That it was one of the bigger things. It was just like a communication thing. Another thing was he's just a very competitive person for no fucking reason. Like, why are you competing against me? Why does it always have to be so adversarial in the sense of, like, for example, he's a big sports person, specifically an FSU, Florida State fan, because he went there, his family went there. I'm a Gator, so I go to UF and they're rivals. So it was always a constant, like, dig at me, like, nag, things like that. I'm like, bro, like, yeah, I respect where I went to school, but, like, I'm not going to be fighting with you. Like, I would literally, like, I don't care about sports like that. So it would be weird shit like that. and that stuff just starts to add up over time. And I'm like, feeling like him felt like 2 full-time jobs. I can't manage that shit. And it's not my job to. Literally, it's not my job. And this man did the best that he could. He did. He did a really good job for what he could. But at the end of the day, compatibility matters. And that's why relationships don't work out. But that's why phase 3 of the blueprint is the most important phase, detachment. It's staying detached and vetting for men, Lukey, vetting for the right men, allowing those right men in. But when it's time to let them go, let them go. Because a lot of women stay in situations that they don't need to be staying in because they just don't want to let go. A past version of myself included. Not with that ex, but with others, Luca's the only compatible guy. That's what he's saying. Probably. Yeah, because it's funny the way he is with other men. Like, Luca's a very dominant dog and just he's a very particular, very moody dog. Like, I got to be very careful with him, even me particular, but he gets very dominant and like jumping on these men and stuff like that. So, but it's his behavior too. I do my best with him, but he's a double rescue. What can I say? Yeah, that's stressful. I had an ex that always wanted to compete as well. That's what they have friends for. That just reminds me of this one. Like I said, the signs are always there. And that's why I feel so bad for like Lindsay Clancy. Like, the signs of that man being neglectful were there from the beginning. And like, his competitive nature was always there. And it was sometimes coming from a very insecure place. And I don't like that shit. Like, I don't want to be dating an insecure man. Why? Because I'm a very confident woman. And that just doesn't work. And that's why a compatibility thing happened. Yeah, we had a really great time. Like, I've had nice like traditions starting with him, going to a pumpkin patch, carving pumpkins, holiday, looking at the lights, like all the holiday shit. It was a really nice, fun cuffing season. But at the end of the day, I stayed detached enough to realize like I can't do this long term. As he is as that person. If he decides to come back and actually change, I don't know, right? We'll see. But at this point right now, life is moving in a different direction for me. Okay, I'm continuing to date, and while there hasn't been anything solid, I'm probably going to be moving out of the state. So we'll see, right? So I'm not really taking a lot of things super serious long term because my long term has opened up in a way that was unexpected. So we shall see. But what I've also learned in relationships is men will come back because they want to know that they still have access to you. They will also, most of them haven't changed. The majority of them haven't. They just want access. And the thing is that the issues that you are already having in that relationship, they almost are like amplified because it takes you from 0 to 60 to get there. Because at the beginning of the relationship, it builds, right? You had that time to build that bullshit up. But once you leave that relationship and you come back to it, the bullshit is still there. So then the bullshit is just amplified and gets worse. Unless you are dating a person who is self-aware enough to come to you and actually shift. But that takes a lot. And most people aren't there. Why with women, though? What do you mean, why with women? I don't know what I was saying. My head is going like, my mind goes so much faster than the words coming out of my mouth. Thank you so much for the follow. Okay, so if you're ready to become a Blueprint Babe, tap the banner. You are going to be getting the first iteration of the Blueprint, the 1.0, but you're going to be immediately getting, because that's what I'm working on, the 2.0 version. So it's $157. You're also going to get the same thing in the community called the Lab, but you're going to get personal guidance from me and other babes in the community supporting you on your journey, plus extra content that helps you navigate this. So this past week, the content that I created, which if you join the lab today, you'll be able to scroll back because it's chats. it was all about detachment, which is phase 3 of the blueprint. Phase 3 of the blueprint, you get this graph in there. You observe investment signals over time. But it requires you staying detached for you to actually see investment signals, see behavior, all the things. Okay, friends. Well, I think I'm going to go walk my dog. And then I will be right back. Oh, water and Gatorade. Yeah, I keep my electrolytes up. Earlier in the year, I bought one of those scales that give you your more detailed, and it said that my I was dehydrated, and I was like, how am I dehydrated? I drink so much water. So I started incorporating electrolytes. We'll see. I don't know what else it is that I can add into it, but that's a whole other health thing. Alrighty, friends. Well, thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna go walk my dog. I will be back later, so we'll be talking more Blueprint Babe stuff. As I mentioned, you will be getting both iterations of the blueprint. You're going to get the 1.0, so the first one, and I'm going to be saying, I don't want to put a date on it, but very, very shortly you're going to be receiving the 2.0. So it's a one-time purchase, $157, or you can join the community. It's a 6-month commitment, $57 a month. And it's so much fun in there. I spend a lot of time in there. My favorite days are group coaching days. And that is coming up tomorrow and Wednesday. Thanks so much.